rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for all attending the June 10th, 2019 BOS Selectmen meeting. Roll call. John Hutchins here.
Joe Bailey here.
Good nap here.
All right. The all-important signing of papers. BOS Selectmen meeting from 1 week ago.
Only one.
I move we accept the minutes of the Board of Selectmen meetings of June 3rd.
A second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye, I've read them already.
Yes.
I'm good. Okay. Next is town-owned properties.
Okay, so we just took 5 properties from the non-payment of taxes.
Okay,
So-
excuse me, just one. Are these just land or land and houses?
2 are land, 3 are homes.
Okay. Make it.
One of the homes is the one that they're looking to sell. So shall we start the eviction process? Because they're still living there. We've not heard anything recently from the realtor since before the deed day. Correct, Janelle? We haven't heard nothing from the, okay. So do we start the eviction process or do we want to wait?
In the past, it sometimes takes time to get the paperwork going. True?
Right, but it's a liability for these people to be living on town property currently. So if we
So
don't
we-
start
so
it, we wait.
We own the property, they're living in town-owned
Oh,
property,
let's
so
get
the
started.
liability is on the town now to take care
So
take
let's
care
get
of it.
on.
Okay, even if it's just the beginning,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
please do.
Okay,
At least,
Um,
I think that protects the town to show that we're trying to get them to
Yep.
what's right.
go out, okay?
The other 2 don't have people living in them. One is on New Portsmouth Road. We went down, Kathy and I, we posted it. That's town owned, no trespassing. We police taped it across. But the one on Karen Road, the family has been contacting Janelle and wants to get in and remove all the furniture.
No, it's our property now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I mean, I know we don't care, but again, is it gonna take them a full day? Again, it's a liability.
yeah,
What
if
if
they
they
get hurt while
destroy
they're on
it?
the town
What
property
if
and
they?
stuff like that, they destroy stuff, I mean, yeah. There's something, after you guys, my personal deal, if they wanna hire a police detail, to come down and not trash the place, and take 1 day only to get it out, done deal. They have to hire, have a police
I agree with
detail.
that.
Amend that slightly to say that we, as a town, will not be held liable for any injuries incurred by them as they are removing their merchandise. Yes, they would pay for a police detail to make sure that everything is done correctly. They're taking their stuff and not the walls, the insulation.
Okay, so the third part is, do we change all the locks? We do that
Oh, I
again?
believe
Yeah.
we should.
Yeah, and that way, if we decide to let them in the criteria like that, police officer will have the key and they can let them in and close up after they're done.
All right, I'll have Lester
I think that would be a fair way of doing it.
There's a lot of locks on one of them. We might have to do like harder. Might have to put sticks on the inside of the sliders, like there's a lot of sliders and stuff,
Yeah.
like, so, yeah.
But either you, Laura, or any ladies, is there any good news? Like last minute, a lot of people paid up.
Okay.
We paid our taxes today.
I'm gonna pay tomorrow.
Yeah,
How
but
many
we
times
want to
have
good
we
news
heard
today,
that?
not tomorrow.
So, yeah, some people have been in, even though they are a bit behind, they're making an effort to get caught up.
Yeah, they paid off what they need to pay off.
Okay, good.
It's Susan County, his daughter's daughter, which was the one who wanted to get into, get some personal items.
Oh, the audit.
Yeah. Sadly, she didn't receive any of the correspondence that was sent to her, and unfortunately Laura tried many times to get through to her on the phone. To hear for the decision from the board.
We tried, so.
Yeah, we did try, but she did want to get access to the house to get those. And she said she would, do a police detail or have someone from the town there
Yeah.
to be able to do that, so I can.
Thank you. All right.
What's the status of
All right. More? Less? That's it?
So, well, we have one more town
In
property,
progress.
so that parcel, down on Lake Shore that we've been wondering who it belongs to.
Oh, yes.
with
Oh,
no
yeah.
map or lot.
Yep.
So people have been doing,
It's interesting, so do you want it or not, I guess. So in the original, agreement that the Sunrise Lake Land Development had, it says, these certain lots and any beaches within
yeah.
the whole area.
Roadways, parking areas, and it clearly states beach areas. Anything that's noted as beach area, which that was noted as beach area for the Sunrise Lake lands back in '85. So,
But when they lost it, we only gave them the lots with maps and lots. So it's whether, I think in order to give it to them and clarify if I'm wrong, we have to first give it a map and lot, which means we might have to survey
yes.
and do all of that.
We, technically, because we had to do a deed, and we can't do a deed without a map and lot, I believe.
Right.
So, we had to get CIA, which has been emailed several times without a response about how to get a map and lot on that beach area, even though it's never had a map and lot. Even back in 66, 64, 44, it's never had a map and lot. It just had beach area.
Okay, so basically, whether they have it or we have it, they're still gonna have to have a survey.
So it's up to, so if we give it to them, they would still have to, they would have to do a map and lot and had to have it surveyed and all that stuff. If we do it and they don't want it, and we do it, we can, like I said, we've had it for over 10 years, we can do the survey, get the map and lot, and then sell it for, if you guys wanna sell it for market value. So it will pay for that in the long run. But it's up to if you give it back to Sunrise Lake Lands or whatever they're called now. Sorry.
SLLA is the easy way.
Thank you.
So-
They would have to get it a map and lot on themselves.
How much land's there?
Sheesh. Third of an acre, quarter of an acre?
It's actually pretty big.
Okay.
I have it somewhere.
It's okay,
I
it is
really
fine, it's
don't know
fine. I mean,
exactly, but.
if it's significant, then it's
is
fine,
this-
I mean, it's something.
Does everybody know what we're even talking about?
Yes.
They were discussing it at the annual meeting, Memorial Day weekend, and if I'm clear on this, we were walking this weekend. So you've got the main beach that everybody knows about. The second beach, there was the sunken dock, which somebody apparently went down and put up a new dock, and a floating dock has been installed and all of that down there. So that's beach 2.
Okay.
And then beach 3, I think, is this one that's up for debate. And
Where do you
it's-
think it is?
It's right before the house at the end of Lakeshore, the one that's the.
No, that's town
we're-
property.
You're off.
Okay, so those are the only 3 that I know of.
4.
Where's the 4th
Okay.
one?
Beach
This is where the
1.
confusion is down there
Okay.
with a lot of people.
Beach 1 is the main
Okay.
beach for SLLA,
Right.
okay? Beach 2 is not a beach at all, it's a wooded lot. 4 or 5 lots away from beach 1.
That's beach 2, I think, that,
There's no beach.
There is
It's
no-
a wooded lot.
it's not beach, it's muck.
No, it's not
So
even
it's
much,
not even
and
that?
trees
It's a
growing
wooded
there.
lot.
Okay.
It
It's
looks
at
like,
the end of Shore and Birch Road. It's on the court, like it's right there.
I
Wanna
took,
see it?
you have no clue the research
no, I
we did.
think
We
that's
ended
the
up pulling
one.
our title
No,
company
that's the
in
one that we
last
have in.
fall.
That's the one
We were
researching.
messaging with the associations, we've
Okay.
been talking to residents,
Sure.
because everybody
oh,
was
but the one
told
we're talking about
all
is not
kinds
the
of
same.
things.
Oh, I'm talking
Most of
about
us didn't know the
that's not
association
right.
had more than one property. We're learning all kinds of fun facts.
Okay, so the one in question is, if you keep going down, somewhere near, is it Dowling that goes out, Dowling Street?
Close.
There's a swampy area with a sign that says SLLA.
Right.
That's the property we're talking about.
That's the one, it had a sunken dock, and then a few days ago, somebody went and put in a new dock.
Well,
And a
they gotta
floating
take the
dock
dock
got
out,
put
'cause that's
out.
town-owned property.
Right. There is a 4th one down near the entrance to Tangle.
That one, we tried walking down there, it's mud, it's overgrown, it's a
Yeah.
mess, so we could barely get to the
All
water.
right, the town has
So-
that one, and we're gonna do absolutely nothing with it,
Okay.
That one has a map and lot.
okay?
But the one that's, on the, I say, on the corner of, I wanna say.
Yeah, Dowling.
No, it's on the, I believe it's on the corner of, well, it's like Birch comes down and then Shore comes and it's right at that little corner. It's right here. So this is the one that's in question of no map or lot. I know you can't really see it, but it's that right there.
We said this, that information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's here. Those 2 pieces they own are here and one of these, yes.
And then this is the one that's in question.
Right,
Without-
yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So from what we read, the town technically owns it because that was within the Sunrise Lake plans. Stuff that they own.
Your association, do they want it? We've been patiently waiting for them to decide if they want it.
Honestly, I don't. We've been having communication issues within our association. And I don't think anybody's really clear on
I
on
have
what
to say,
this.
she says there's a new dog down there, so again, here we have people working, using town-owned property.
Right.
They're telling everybody we have to go, that all the other residents have to go to Jones's Beach to use it, to access the lake, when in reality, they have a spot right here that's got a dock on it. Whoever owns that dock should probably remove it, because that actually can be
We
used by
don't-
town-owned property,
We
town
walked down there
taxpayers.
like last
We can post it.
Tuesday, I think. We walked, my partner and I were walking down there, and it was the sunken dock, the wicker chair that's in pieces, like all garbage. We walked down 3 days later, and the new dock, new dock, I don't know what it is, but new dock's out there. Floating dock was taken off the land, put into the water at the end of the dock. The chair's thrown in the woods now with all the old docks. And, somebody put some effort into cleaning it up a little bit. It's still posted as SLLA, so everybody thinks it's SLLA.
I mean, we do have a gentleman that's been inquiring about the property for some time now, Brandon Carroll, we call him yesterday.
We need to sign
Wanted
that
to know
too.
to clean it up, I don't know if maybe it's him, but, I mean, we've already told him that it's, as of what we know, it's town property. We just need to do a map and law unless Sunrise, Lake Land, SLA
Yes.
wants it, and then they would have to go and
Yeah, I mean,
Pay
I
for
can
the-
message the
CIA.
Christines, Maynard and Bartlett, I think is her last name, the president.
President's probably.
Yeah, I can try calling her.
Treasurer's Christine.
Right, and just see what they said about it, because I know there was confusion, they brought that up
it's
in the
very
meeting.
confusing. 100%.
Confusing in a lot of things related to that whole development.
Yeah.
I think they're
It
waiting
just-
though to see who actually
Right, they were
owned it.
waiting
Yeah.
for the research, is what we were told.
So
And once they
basically,
had
the
And
town-
answered,
what
then
we
we
found,
got
The town owns it, by default.
by default really, because if you look at the, like I said, I can show you the deed, it clearly states where it says, okay.
I believe
It says that anything public roadways, beach areas, the successor would own it.
So if it doesn't
And
have a
that's
lot,
us.
It
and
doesn't,
therefore it's
right.
not
Not,
designated
so that's
plot
how
like
it's
the other
designated
beaches,
as
then
Right,
beach
so
area.
how do we give it? See, when we only gave the ones that were
lots.
lots.
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, I can look into it a little more with, I don't know, I mean, I can call the town board, I guess, or see how we can even do that, but.
Let's
You
phone
guys-
call in, would you?
Your permission, I intend to write a letter from the Board of Selectmen to the SLLA stating that it is our belief it is town-owned property, and we're either gonna give it to you
So-
as is. If you don't want it, then we're gonna, have it mapped out, surveyed, and we'll sell it.
But either way, I think it has to be mapped out. and
Yeah, we're
surveyed,
not
no
sure
matter
how to
what.
give it without no identification of giving.
So it's
Okay,
either
then-
SLA's
So let's
doing
get
the
going on having
survey
it,
or us.
Do you do
survey.
it or do they do it?
Yes, exactly. If they want it, they have to do it. If you don't want it and we get it, then
Sure.
town has to do it.
That makes no sense.
Why don't we just go ahead
They
and
want it
have,
for free, do it.
well, why don't we go ahead and have a survey, okay, take care of it, okay,
Okay.
like some town-owned property. If SLL wants it, they can pay us for the survey and then become
That's what we're
theirs.
saying, yeah, so.
And I think that'd be a fair way of doing it, but either way, we should have it surveyed and taken care of, so what, going forward, not wondering what has to be done, it's done, who wants it.
Right.
In the meantime, that SLLA sign needs to come down.
Yep,
I believe this property should be posted. It's town-owned, okay?
that dog should be moved out of there.
Whose job is that?
We can post it all, can't we, Laura?
We got plenty of that tape.
We sure do.
Yeah.
We can please tape that whole
Yeah,
area.
and then we can tape.
You're gonna find
not
out who owns that
trust
That's right, I expect I will.
float
Yeah,
real
I'm
quick.
sure, please call,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because Dawn thought that there was a gate across it the first time we went down, and I couldn't recall, but there's like a post there. And he thought it had been blocked, and then when we went back, it was not blocked. and
I
the
kind
changes
of,
had
my
been
gut
made.
feeling is somebody down there probably is for their own private little thing like that, whatever, not saying nothing to nobody and just,
Well-
you know.
It very well could be, if everybody thinks that there's, confusion You never see anybody down there. We saw one person, or two people down there the other night, that was the first time ever. And then we walked down there, you know, with a couple of our neighbors and stuff, just looking, just like, oh, where did all this come from? So,
Are you willing to try to find out whose it is, or you'd rather not get involved?
Real quick.
We're gonna find
I said
out.
we'll find out as soon as we
Put the
post
tape
it.
up, they'll come ask
right,
you.
yeah, I'd
We
say
have a
just,
number, we'll find it.
right, if the number's on there, they'll call you.
Okay.
Either that or they lose their dock because it's on private property, well, it's town-owned property, and
And maybe those individuals will want to talk to either one of the Christines to have the SLLA get it back. Okay, all right. And I'll write that letter.
Okay, and we're gonna contact the survey company, go ahead and get started on that part of it. At least,
Who do we have? Norway Williams or
Yeah.
someone else?
Don't worry. I'll go to Rick. I'll find out who Rick wants us
right now,
to, yeah, I'm thinking that too, but
right now, survey.
you see who cut us a deal, is wheel a deal with them. I got $5.
either way, good to know that you know, there's a step forward being taken on that, because we didn't even know it was in question until then. And then we were all just waiting, because we were told they were waiting.
All right. Cell tower, what's up with cell tower, please?
I was down there today, forms are up, it's approximately 16 tons of steel in it, and we're hoping to pour the concrete Wednesday or Thursday, weather permitting.
And I went by today, and JCR, who works for Eversource, we're putting 2 poles out on the side of the road, on Ridge Road, and they're working on going inside the property to put the pole in there, so when it comes crossing down, so.
Need service.
How about the water? It's still pumping water out of there? or-
Yeah, they're still pumping water, they dug out, they sunk a vertical culvert, and big generator, and it's staying dry.
The thing about concrete, I love water.
So, Jim, barring unforeseen problems, be done before snow flies?
I would certainly hope so.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I don't know how reliable it is, but somebody assured Roger Maines that it would be up in 2 months.
And that's great.
Let's just say before winter, because we heard before last winter.
What's gonna
There's
happen
another
is the
6 months
infrastructure
later.
gets done, but then the radio guys
Yeah.
are gonna come and they're gonna come.
Roger's not here, but I can give an update on the possible other tower. Let's talk of possibly one going in over in Tanglewood. But there's enough concern about that one that Roger has asked that company to perform a balloon test sometime this summer with all the foliage on the leaves. Balloon test, they take a helium balloon and let it go up in the air to represent the height of the tower. Then drive around and see if you can see it from this street, from that street. It gives an idea of what we'd be looking at if they put a tower in. All right? That's the last I've heard about that. Yes.
Same with the balloon test, you've got a big orange balloon, 5 feet diameter, it's gonna stand out like a sore thumb. Tower, once it's up there for a month, you're not gonna see it a lot. You know, you're not gonna look at it. Giant big orange ball.
Okay.
I've heard that's a concern a lot. I do cell towers on the side. And once it's up there, you won't see it.
Can anybody say how many towers there are between here and Rochester? It's a lot of them. You don't see them, you don't notice them. Can you
But
think?
the big orange ball, yeah, it's gonna see it.
Yeah.
And yet, that's in my office, right down that hallway. I cannot get reception. No, but every one of you has a
I get
similar
none
story.
in any of these public buildings, I get no reception in any of them.
My phone works for perfectly.
Mine works really
Mine
good.
does throughout the town where other people say there's dead spots, but
Just odd.
not in the buildings. I use your Wi-Fi, I hook up to it to be able to get messages.
John?
Which one of you three are the person responsible for the cell tower?
None of us.
Jim?
None of us.
No, why?
I
Yeah,
don't understand the
Well,
question.
because I left word with the working crew over there that I want the engineer to call me before he pours concrete. I want written statements on everything that is done by them while they're putting this up. It still has to go through the town. The engineer's gonna sign off on it, He's the expert, but I want paper backing it up.
Have you met the foreman down there?
I have
Jason?
not. I've left messages with, I've met the foreman on the crew working here.
Yes, Jason, I believe his name is.
But the engineer has not called. I've not met him. I don't know who he is.
Let me go down and try to light a fire with Jason, just tell him, code enforcement.
I want to do just like we did at the school. Whenever they did something, they signed off on it, had an engineer's signature on it, and that was in the folder. I have a complete copy of that upstairs. So that it takes the blame off the town. It's on them.
I'll talk to
Okay.
the foreman tomorrow.
All right. I'm moving on to departments unless there's any other old business to take care of. Okay. The fire department addition is both old and new, so let's do the departments, then the fire department. Anything from assessing?
Oh, that's me. Love me. Are you ready?
You gonna read every one of those?
No, please don't. So, I have a couple abatements that have been denied. One abatement that was already denied, but he wrote Jonathan stating that he was wrong and this is the reason why. And Jonathan rewrote him saying exactly, he still thinks it should be denied. So that one probably most likely will go to ETLA, but I just wanted to, that's the one at 438 Ridge Road, the giant home that stores old cars. So he's still
What's
denying.
BTLA, anybody know? Bureau of Taxation and Land Appeals,
Yep.
Concord.
So I just wanted to show you guys, you don't have to
Yeah.
sign anything on that one, just to look it over if you want to look over at your convenience.
not really.
Okay.
We already talked about it. What I think it is.
Then I have these three that have been denied, just because they don't have enough, really, information to.
These are new? If so, we should talk about them.
Oh, okay. So Senate is this one. This is the, this thing. I need your signatures on this one.
Concerns 42 Shore Drive, map 5, lot 101. Taxpayers filed for abatement, taxpayer states, I'm paraphrasing here, has the largest water value of its neighbors, less depreciation, and the 9th largest increase of all properties in the development, given several properties for comparison. Okay? And what is his response?
You should know this.
Okay. I believe this is now coming from the Avatar. The fact that the property saw an overall percentage change larger than adjacent properties would suggest that the property was previously underassessed. Interesting theory. And is now more consistent with market value. And other properties given consideration for their individual characteristic and features. With lack of pertinent sale and assessment data giving consideration for differences between properties, failing to meet the burden of proof on behalf of the taxpayer, I recommend the abatement be denied. So, what is your pleasure? I think we have to vote on this.
Well, yeah, you go with
We
either
agree on them or don't
Jonathan's.
agree?
Not enough information, I would sit there and deny it.
Looks like the taxpayer's name is Senate, Senat,
So no,
okay? All right,
I'll go with the recommendation.
yep.
you have to sign one though. Their signature, not,
Mr. John?
yo.
All of us. You're gonna.
I'll fill that out, I'm sorry, I just got that one today. Or you can fill it out for me if you want to do your job. It's either.
Okay, next.
This is for Vita, Blue Vita. Oh, it's a little shorter.
Louvier, located at 35A Woodland Road. Woodland Road is off Silver Street, not far from the beginning of Nicole. Taxpayers filed for abatement on this 97-acre water access lot. Woodland Road. It's across the street.
Deeded lot, deeded lot and access.
Okay. Improved with a contemporary style home assessed at $43,094. The taxpayer questions why the garage value changed, specifying its feature base rate from 22 to 30. As part of the townwide value update in 2018, the values for extra features outbuildings were updated. This was to more accurately reflect construction costs and contributing value based on the market. This is a townwide change, not just to one particular property. It sounds like his went up, everybody else's went up. Since the goal is to reach 100% of market value during the value update, we addressed all aspects of contributing value to the property. Taxpayers not applying the value or contested the overall assessment. And subsequently, I recommend the abatement be denied. So apparently, either Mr. Vito or Mr. and Mrs. Vito thought that they were getting a closer scrutiny on their garage than other people. According to this, everybody got that same scrutiny. Probably me with my garage. So anyway, recommend that it be denied. All right?
It's a fine payday day.
That's the attitude.
I ain't building a garage. I'll just build chicken coops.
I like when you start
Get taxed on
first.
those.
It's like, I called to ask.
Really much.
Okay.
Three
How
hours,
about another
like,
one?
More,
No,
that's the last
I
one
can
for
read
me.
this one.
so the deck,
John?
and then the pool.
Could I point out that the door is open, the air conditioner's
property.
running? Maybe
No, we gotta pay somehow.
Thank you.
You can't escape, Joe.
Okay. This is 322 Pinkham Road. It's on the front side of the lake. The name is Pedersen. It's also S.K.E. Realty Trust. Taxpayers filed for abatement on this .351 acre waterfront parcel, improved with a Cape style home assessed at $473,400. Taxpayer states the property is overvalued compared to the supplied comparison properties, and subsequently is disproportionately assessed. Right? When you plead your case before the assessors, you try to show examples of why you're being picked on relative to other people. Okay? While the assessment of the subject is greater than the others, it is quantifiable, and a lack of context for the differences could give the impression of inequity. Subject property is central there. The shore road properties do not. The subject is a higher quality build than the others. A3 versus A2, that must be some standard for building. Has different length of water frontage than the other properties, with better access and utilities. I didn't think they'd studied all this stuff. The quality extent of landscaping is also greater than the shore road properties. Excuse me, with the subject building in very good condition versus good condition of the others. You got very good and we have good. There are also different features such as garages, sheds, fireplaces that differ. And without making adjustments for all of these differences between properties, there's a skewed comparison. So even though the owner is trying to make comparisons, a simple mind like me would say it's apples and oranges. After a full town-wide value update in 2018, the property is accurately described and well supported by the assessing model. The difference between the other properties constitutes the difference in value. There's no evidence of disproportionality. Well, that's quite a word. Disproportionality. The general level of assessing review of this. With lack of sales or assessing data with adjustments for differences, I recommend this abatement be denied due to the taxpayer not meeting the necessary burden of proof. Okay? So, I would agree. what did it say?
It's not mine. Yeah, the
Not mine either.
Hush's compound.
All right, so is that it?
No.
No, there's more. Okay.
So, this
Save
is,
her for last.
you should have. This is a mistake that I did. So, now I gotta fix it.
Oh no, this is alright then, I like this one.
So I had a current use application from Thomas and Amy Gardner across the street for 37 Silver Street. They bought that lot with 79 acres, I believe, over there. They returned it to me on April 15th and I did not process it right. So therefore, I had to have you sign the current use application that was approved by Jonathan. And then I need you to sign an abatement that they need to get on their tax bill because they were not billed right. Because their assessment went from 186,000 to 48,000 because they put it in current use. So there's a difference of $1,900 on their tax bill. But it's fixed now. Why did you sign all this paperwork?
They've been cleaning up that property.
Yeah, they still have a shed on it though. We just found out.
So is that an abatement that we just do in the system, or is that a check we need to cut?
So what will happen since they have not paid it yet, I will get this abatement to Janelle. Janelle will abate that $1,930, and then what the balance is, it will be what they owe. And I'll show you how to do that tomorrow, on Wednesday.
Are you at all
Thursday.
familiar with the property?
I
Must
am.
come down to Tanglewood.
It does, yeah, and it butts right to Tanglewood. So that just shows you, I just want the abatement that you have to sign, so Janelle can abate that on that
Okay.
tax bill, but it went from 187.2 to 48,599.
Kathleen, without getting into personalities, I know it's hard. Did you receive complaints from the neighbors for this property? Like across the street or anything?
Yeah, all the
No.
time. They're jerks.
He lives across the street.
For the record? Is that for the record?
That is for the record. No, it's just all the
Good,
time.
I'm doing my job
They
then.
throw parties all night long.
This is the
sorry.
This is the
It's on video.
property that now just has like an old foundation or something, right?
Yes,
They
that's
took
right.
it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
This, they,
Fire department burned the building,
Right. To
left
test
the
the
shed.
cameras.
they actually, there's been a machine over there doing some stuff too.
I was working on an old trailer.
Oh, sorry.
You see that camera?
Okay, now
Thank
we
you so much. I am done.
About time. He's
Always.
midnight?
Animal control officer. Anything?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any major issues.
Highway. Zoning. We had a meeting regarding a property on the Kohler. It was granted. They wanted the variance on setback. Instead of 20 feet, it was 15 feet to line up with the existing house. And it was granted. Okay. It looks like they started in on it. Okay?
You're gonna have another one, he's calling you once to put up a shed. And he didn't even fill out a permit.
All right.
He's closer to the road than the 50 feet, or he's closer than the house is to the street. The 20-foot side sets in the rear are fine, but there's also a garage there that he's gonna be even with. I told him to call you and go to the board and see what they say, rather than go through the process with me.
Yep, okay. Zoning Board of Appeals there to allow people to request exemptions or exceptions from the current zoning board. Okay, the requirements on what you can and cannot do with the property. Sometimes the property isn't big enough. Sometimes there isn't enough setback for what you'd like to have. That's all things that the zoning board meets to decide. Okay? Zoning board does not make the requirements. Who makes the requirements? Planning board, as signed or agreed to by the town vote at the town meeting. Okay? Treasury. Anything?
So right now, this is your report, correct, Laura?
Yeah.
Laura says that we have 1,447,337. 1.047,337.67 dollars. But that's the treasurer said, should be pretty much. Balance. Adding balance. Yeah, 1.047,337.67.
All right,
Take that back.
Huh?
so we're good enough for another month.
So we got money.
We don't have to.
We don't have to get
Sell our
a
souls.
can.
Okay.
No.
Health officer,
So,
anything cooking?
Again, the tick season is on us. I haven't had any other letters from the state. Haven't heard anything about the bacteria at the lake, although I know that they are going to be using that new chemical in the water for the milfoil. I think you've already signed that agreement.
Yes.
It's supposed to be a little more expensive, but it lasts longer, so in actuality, it should be less money. I don't think I have anything else. We didn't get any other letters from the state.
For those of us who at times bemoan the fact that Middleton doesn't have much, there's no stores, there's no sidewalks, take a look at what Rochester is going through with the cigarette flavors or something they're trying to ban, become the first city in the state. I don't smoke, so I'm not
The
familiar.
vaping
The
flavors.
vaping,
Yeah.
I don't even know what vaping is, but, you
The
know.
electric
That's
Cigarettes.
all it is.
I don't have all the rules, but I think I'm thankful that we're not concerned with that here in Middleton. It might be going on, but there's no stores that are selling it. That's good. Okay, now on the planning board, anything cooking?
Well, not as of yet, we're going through a few things on, updates, more updates, so we found whatever misprints and stuff like that, fixed for the next, March meeting. We have a meeting this Thursday night.
All right. EMS, any reports?
Can we just combine fire and EMS? I've noticed that they're on two different ones. You
Sure.
only got one department head, so. You wanna do both fire and EMS?
Please,
Okay.
what's up? Okay. It says Fire and Rescue Monthly Report. Are the numbers here for the year or for the month?
That's total so far for this year.
Year. So
Yeah.
it says 36 fire calls. That means since January 1st.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep,
Does that include helping EMS?
correct.
Does that count as a separate call for them?
Well, so we've got one call for EMS for a call for service, whatever.
Right.
And then if needed, then they call for fire, so that would add a service call for fire.
Okay.
Yep.
Griffin Park passed the practices for EMT. It'll be testing soon. Engine 1 will be going in for a light bar. Portable pump and generator will be going to Watson's Corner for service work. 2 members looking to join, and then handwritten Center Ossipee ambulance.
Yep.
What's up?
So I talked with the chief up at Center Ossipee. They're interested in the old ambulance. He's gonna talk to his board, Wednesday or Thursday of this week to try to figure out something. He'd like to come down, take a look at it, and then we can go from there. But they're interested in it.
Who has the final say, Bill? Us?
I would say you guys, it's a
Okay,
town,
but-
piece of town equipment.
I think representing the fire department, EMS, you are leaning towards, here's the keys, thank you, goodbye.
It's,
No
that's, someone helped us out with our first ambulance.
Right.
Wakefield gave us our first ambulance. So if that helps them get their first ambulance,
Okay.
200% in favor of that,
Right.
so, absolutely. If it meets their criteria and they want it, we have to sign, you have to sign off as chair for
Right.
the registration as, whatever.
Yeah.
with $0 and basically give him the keys and say happy trails,
Yeah.
so.
We did it for $1 to make it an official.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, this goes back a ways, promise you won't fall asleep. My first ambulance runs were in this town of Newmarket in 68, 69, while I was going.
16?
Yeah, thank you. While I was going to UNH. We also received a free ambulance. It was a hearse. The first ambulance was a hearse.
Not a horse and buggy.
I thought you were one of those Conestoga wagons you were talking about earlier.
No, I don't remember how much equipment we had, but a stretcher would go in, there's a place for one person to sit there. Thing was black, had one of those old bubble top, bubble gum.
And if you die, you're all set.
That's
I
right.
know, right?
You got it.
And
Wanna stop shopping?
we started at the funeral home
It's not
and
really,
came
you
back to
know.
the funeral home.
No.
It was neat because sometimes, if, the call didn't take too long, the funeral director was in there working on a body, so we couldn't watch it. It was an interesting experience. All right, anything else? Bill, that's it?
That's it.
Welfare,
Nothing.
okay?
I'm quiet.
Emergency management, I hope you have a few tall tales. If you've gone out west to.
No, I haven't made it out west. No, all is well, we're looking good, we've been doing lots of management meetings and keeping everything up.
All right, have you had a chance to attend any statewide meetings or any conference calls?
I haven't yet, but I did a conference call,
All right.
but I haven't gone to the training yet, so I'm hoping to do that later this year.
All right. As a storm draws near, Governor Sununu and the head of the state police and probably a couple other bigwigs put out a conference call where Detective Cooper from this town, somebody from that town, can all dial at the same time and listen to the report. I think you did it once or
I did,
twice.
yeah.
Okay? Pretty interesting. Every time I see the news, I'm thankful that it's not Middleton that's getting hit. Jeez. You see pictures of the water flowing down Main Street. You know how many houses are ruined by that, basements. Ken, you've done a fair amount of work. What happens to a basement that has water in it for 4 feet of water for a day, then it drains out? What do you have to do in that basement?
Mold mildew.
Change the wiring?
Well, you gotta dry it out, and the mold in a day's time will go right into the floor joists and walls. It's not a good thing.
Washing machine, motor, dryer, all that's gone.
This gym will have work.
Okay.
Heating system's good for me.
Yeah. Wow.
Water heaters.
Not a good thing anyways.
School board. Anybody, anything? Town clerk, tax collector.
Laura has
Oh,
already
yeah, I have
reports.
remote thing.
You do, Jim, when you're out.
Trying to,
This is just last month, correct?
You're involved with dogs that are not registered, are you?
Me and Teresa work together, yeah.
How's the list? It was this long, how is it now?
About 75 people.
Still? How many were on it?
That will go down as soon as she sends those certified.
Yeah, the certifieds just went out the other day.
Really? Already?
Well, yeah, the ones,
For the dogs that look for pictures?
well, not those ones, but the ones for the new dogs.
Oh, nice,
For new
nice,
dogs.
yeah,
For the silver.
yeah, that's good. As soon as she sends those out, that will go right down.
But they'd have to give up the dog if they didn't register.
No, we'll take support though.
Oh, I'm like, wait, forfeiture? Like repossessing dogs?
That's a fun one. No, not at all, no. Although if it's a French bulldog, I
Yeah, you can just imagine that part. That might are, you know.
Another reason why we like Middleton. A town, I think it's in New Hampshire, has enclosed tennis courts. Woman brings her dog to the tennis courts, let them run around, if somebody wants to use the tennis courts, she grabs the dog and leaves. Well, it kinda happened a little too quickly. Person trying to use the tennis courts, the dog gets out, the man is fearful for his life and shoots the dog. Okay, so now there's lawsuits and everything. Another reason to live in Middleton, we do not have public tennis courts, okay?
We do have people there.
There is
Right.
that old basketball court though, so don't.
That's
School
been
property. Out of town.
Is that school property, really?
Yes, it is.
I just wondered.
Uh,
Okay, good to know.
Detective Cooper, anything from the police?
Nope, I don't have any steps. Chief Budge asked me to fill in forms tonight, 'cause he couldn't make it.
He said you have nothing to me.
Just
I
like
can tell you everything's going well. Get it under control.
Safe to say, details are down compared with last year.
Yes.
That's,
We're hoping
Those just
that-
waited last summer, it was like every day, it was 2 or 3 details on 153.
They still need to swap poles out, so I don't know when they're gonna do that, but that'll bring some back.
It's telephone company, right? It'll be years.
Yeah.
Okay, John, question? Comment?
Yeah, you asked for health officer, you didn't get my other 2 jobs.
I haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay.
They're coming, I should have done them both at once,
All right,
I'm
okay.
sorry. All right, conservation, nothing going on. All right, how about code enforcement? What's your other job? It's not cemetery, is it?
Code enforcement, I've been out because of the trash being changed to a Friday. It's been very good. I've seen very few incidents, and the ones that I've had, I've either called them or sent them just a regular letter, and they've corrected it. So basically, everything seems to be working out okay. Although we had our doubts about it, but
I've had complaints about people forgetting that it's Friday. People forget that it was Tuesday, so what's the difference?
yeah.
Joe?
Well, I had a conversation with a couple people last Friday evening like that. How come the trash isn't picked up?
oh my god, that's funny.
Because it's a holiday weekend.
Wait until tomorrow it'll be picked up. And I'm praying that they show up and pick it up, and they did, so.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
There was a lot of down
So-
wells.
But they did the job.
They did, oh,
So,
yeah.
no complaints.
I believe if you call Waste Management, they will tell you when your pickup is for your town.
Well, it's on the calendar, on the town
But
website.
you're
web
correct.
calendar, too.
I did call them on Friday, and they did say they were coming out Saturday. I was concerned that it was gonna be Monday. No, they said they were here Saturday. Okay. All right,
Building inspector, things are a little bit slow now, but coming in with a lot of small things right now. I haven't seen much of the larger construction, the new houses and things. I haven't seen that much. A lot of small additions and renovations and things like that.
John, would you agree that to a certain extent, Partridge Drive, Pheasant Drive, that's all kind of a development? Adams Way was a development. Any whispers of any other development?
Well, these are whispers. There's 70 some odd acres up on Ridge Road. There's 30 some odd acres off of 153. They're talking that the properties, the one on 153 was property that was an auction, not a tax auction, but a regular auction on the property. And a developer talked to me about that. So there are possibilities.
Okay.
There's plenty of land in Middleton that's not been built on. There's a lot of open land.
How about Newport's, I think? Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, out of curiosity, so you said Ridge Road and 153, are those in the areas where it says that right now the minimum is 5 acres per lot?
I would
Yes.
think.
So, for example, that 30-acre lot would only be 6 lots unless he got approval to then subdivide.
John?
They'd all be private. septics and all that, so.
Yeah.
Last time we had Anthony talk about it, across from Gary wrote that place up in there.
Mhm.
The guy would put something like that, and that fell through, so.
But those are just, you know, there's nothing concrete whatsoever about them. And Joe, with the planning board, not at this meeting, but you have a work session coming up. All right, at that one, I'm going to be bringing a lot of potential changes to our ordinances. Like all the building permits, the fees. We are so far behind, it costs the town money for me to go out and do an inspection. We're not making anything on it. We should at least be breaking even. So I've drawn up a proposal, I'll bring it to the planning board, bring it to the selectmen, however you want to do it. Then there has to be some corrections made in the book. I'm still reading Wakefield in a lot of places.
I said, mention like that, part of our thing is to make those updates and changes on those pages.
Then there's another thing with in-law apartments. The state has approved in-law apartments to be built separately from a residence, but each town has to approve that on their own. The state has passed it to be approved by each town if they so wish. Then there's another one, well, there's a whole bunch of them, and I'm gonna be bringing them to that work session. I will dump them in your lap, I will explain them as best why I would like to see them changed, and then it's up to you guys to do your checking, and we'll go from there.
Bring the list.
This is a 10-point bonus question for anybody that's still listening to me. One word answer as to why there are not major developments in Middleton. Water. People are willing to build, even put the water line in, but they want to hook up to existing water. Without existing water, some places require cisterns, which is what we have, I think, over here at the school. Very expensive. Do you agree that slows us up from people wanting to build 6 or 8 houses at once again?
Well, that lot size and taxes.
Yeah,
It's more lot size than taxes.
yeah.
Infrastructure, water in, water out.
There is one little tiny section of Middleton that does have water. Yeah, Lincoln Road, that whole area. Nicola, Dudley. All right, nothing new on cemetery that I'm aware of. Heard absolutely nothing. Good. All right, new business, old business. Fire department addition. I'm gonna turn the floor over to Jim, Ken, Chief Lawrence, anybody that wishes to talk about this.
They opened bids last week.
Go lead.
If I could.
Go ahead. Thank you.
There weren't a lot of them. I don't know what else to say. What I'm going to propose to do is reject all bids except the first couple. The first couple being Perkins Concrete. His bid was excavation at 0, foundation at 72.25 plus another 2 inches of concrete. It was a misread. I think you're doing $1,500 more.
Yep, they gave me an updated bid on that, so
We're
we
gonna-
can act on that for sure.
Badger Plumbing and Heating was at $19.40 for rough it. I'm gonna suggest we go with that. It's in town, it seems a little high, but why quibble about a few $100? We get it back with it. That's our issue. Everybody's busy right now. They're throwing high numbers at it. They get the work great, if not, who cares? That's what's going on. So I think we gotta regroup a little bit. I'd like to get the concrete started, Badger started. Middleton came in really good with the material, and we'll look around for a framing crew, whether we hire a guy 2 or 3 days at a time. There is an issue of non-town employees working here, and I talked about that, which is insurance.
Yeah, we need to.
It's a workman's comp thing, but I was gonna talk to Bill, if we need labor, could we get some fire department guys? They're
Well,
already town employees.
Also, I've got a guy that's interested in doing a bid for the framing of it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, because the bids have closed, I couldn't find a
Right,
bid
what we're gonna do, we're
package.
gonna reject all of them.
Yep.
Start fresh. It really didn't work out to anybody's advantage.
Can you give me another?
Yes, I can. I'll
Okay.
get you the whole package.
Question. You guys are, you're going for framing, roofing's a separate issue, drywall, paint, trim is a separate issue. Can we split that all as one bid, inclusive of everything? And I think you probably have a better chance of getting the
If you can get somebody to bid it, that's the issue.
I mean,
If we get too particular, nobody's gonna want it.
well, you know, particularly nobody's doing it either.
Exactly, that's what I mean, nobody wants it.
So
So
if you
we-
have a gentleman, if you have if you have somebody bid, and they say, okay, just making money on framing, I can make money on this part, this part, this part, and this part, and do the whole job.
Do
then
all
what?
of them.
Huh?
Show an interest in all of them, if they want
Yeah.
to do the framing and the insulation
So we
and the
put it
sheet.
out, when we put it out, we had the individual bid sheets. So somebody could come back and bid on all of them. Paxton actually bid on interior
Yeah,
finish,
about 3 of them.
framing, and sheet rock.
Okay.
The concept, the reason why you have me is to get out of the general contractor's margin. Because typically when I'm doing a job, I add up all my subs, I put 30% on top of it, and that's me. So we're hoping to save that 30%.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think we could do a lot better. Let's go backwards a little bit. Handshake, do I trust you, do you trust me? That type of, put it out to bid, it has to be at a certain date, a certain time. You just alienated a lot of people in my book.
So we're beyond that.
And yes, I think what we do is we.
Chief Lawrence, you got someone that's interested, get the information to them. It's no longer a bid. It's-
Right, I gotta,
Turn it in.
I just need to know what that information
Right.
is.
Yep.
I can give you
a
the
set
sample.
package.
Yep. Give me that, I can get it to him.
And that's great, because I got, when we got the outrageous bids on the framing there, I got a list of people from Middleton. Called them, and I've got 2 people that are interested as well. So hopefully we'll get something reasonable.
Ken, when do the trusses have to be ordered?
It's generally about a 3-week lead time, right?
Okay. So you'll take care of that when you think the time is right. Okay.
But I'd like to go ahead and get to the concrete and get all that started.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Which brings up the question.
Is Dig Safe been out yet?
Yeah, we've got a dig safe number.
Okay, so they know where the lines are? They haven't been out yet.
If you wake up.
They have been out yet?
They have,
They have,
and that's good for 60 days, is why we have to renew it.
Between Ken and Chief Lawrence, when do you want the ambulance and other stuff moved?
We'll find out when we talk to Gary Perkins down the creek. We signed the contract tonight. We'll get that started.
Okay.
I'm anticipating that he's probably out a month and a half.
Wow.
Might give Osby a chance to get that ambulance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that was gonna be my
a week.
question. What do we
I guess a
put
month and a half this time.
Yes.
All right.
You know, you might be lucky, you might come in here, 2-3 weeks, but, when things are going.
Good.
So this is a contract to approve and sign. And then we'll negotiate a start date.
This is for Perkins?
For Perkins.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, even with the increase, he was still cheaper than the second bid, and that second bid was just bidding on 4 inches of concrete.
Right.
anyway, So he's still.
The total cost is $87,3750. It's got some terms, no concrete blasting, no blasting, no contracts. You don't need anyways. Responsible for any minor changes. still gonna get together and see if we're gonna move gas line, electric line, anything under that. Permits. Wonders if John's gone, don't need a permit. Good with that, yeah.
John, what's the deal with, if we're going to put together a pickup crew, let's say, do the paint and stuff.
Right.
Does the town have a blanket policy covering volunteers? if they get
I will
hurt?
find out. I think we had volunteers working on the interior of the old town hall. You know, Laura, if we did?
I don't,
Don't remember?
are we paying these people though? That changes things if you pay people.
Okay, it could go either that, either way. I've got some people that would like to volunteer, and then there's, let's say, we can't put, couldn't get a good framing bid. There's a couple of contractors that said, well, you can hire my crew for a day. So, just like, we're putting the trusses, I'll put the walls together.
Find out, I'll probably check
Yeah.
somebody and ask.
Okay.
I think if they're working here, they need to have their own policy though. That's my guess, just from
Unless
past
they're an employee.
conversation. Unless they're an employee. Unless you're not paying them. You know what I mean?
True
Then it's a
volunteer.
true volunteer, and I don't think, if
And
you're
if
paying
we're-
somebody to do work.
If we're a volunteer, and that volunteer would get hurt, we have a policy.
I believe so. But that's no different than somebody just walking through and touring the fire department. You know what I mean? They're just there. They're not being paid to be there. That's different. I think.
Okay. Well,
I
that's
will
just-
check. I will put it in an email so we have a response.
Okay.
So most of any contractors you hire and have their own insurance, you don't have a couple days at a time.
Right.
It's, okay, can you go get me heat up here for 2 days? It's that type of favor. It's scary.
So I guess this is us right here.
Ken will also get hold of Eddie Badger once we get some sort of date down.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have something for him to sign next week, or next meeting.
Still haven't heard a word, I heard a word from Septic Designs, it was supposed to be 2 weeks ago, I still haven't seen him, I guess that's where it stands. I called him 2 weeks ago, so I'll be here this week or next. It was 2 weeks ago. Maybe making a phone call to somebody else, because
Okay.
it's sort of blew us off.
So we haven't paid him.
Great. So, Joe, when the rec department does something, you have volunteers, are they covered by insurance?
The rec committee has their own insurance, yes.
Through the town, or you just have your own insurance?
We have our own insurance, so if anybody who's a volunteer, have it.
Might be something to wonder about doing this thing. Welcome to
Like,
2019.
$500 for a year.
Yeah,
Roughly.
it's like $500 per year for ours.
So
We only have like certain events.
But did you have to list the people who are volunteering?
No,
Like a blanket.
we have the chair, vice chair, treasurer, secretary type of thing. So we actually have a structure in place to do that. So basically, anybody else underneath that can be volunteers, like for one thing, but nothing else for the rest of the year, that they can choose.
$500 isn't terrible. No, it's not. No.
So, if you, if you're thinking about like doing a separate insurance thing for just, you have volunteers come and help work on the thing, it might be a doable thing.
That's what I'm saying, $500 doesn't seem terrible for a project. If somebody wants to come in for an afternoon, hate to say no.
I know, but to do
But
what?
our insurance is not like a workman's comp either, so if that person gets hurt, it doesn't work anymore,
That's a different story.
that's a different story. Ours is just like, you know, Halloween party, they fall at the party, we're not gonna pay them not to work for the
Right, no, just feed them
rest
one
of
candy
their,
and you'll be all right.
you know.
I don't know, it takes some investigating, maybe we just do
Yeah.
it with contractors.
Well, I'll look, see what we can, you know, what options we have.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but if say the fire department helped out, in a sense they're town employees,
They're already covered on town property.
so that
See,
may be.
We had an issue,
good to go.
we did have an issue not too long ago because I've been doing some work here in town for heating and stuff like that, moving things around, whatever. And we were told by the assistant district attorney that anything over $250 has to be put out to bid. So if I come in here and work and done everything at zero, no markup, no labor, no nothing, just free, just pay for the materials. Only $250 has to be put out to bid, even though it's free.
We read
Yeah,
that.
but that's the way it is.
We read that, it's just us, so we can't.
Why is it because you're so?
Right.
So electric and gas.
A different time for all of us. When I was a member of the Farmington Fire Department a long time ago, when the firehouse on Mechanic Street was too small, we were given an old shoe shop right on Main Street in Farmington. Not only did we want the land, we decided we were gonna save all the boards. So, 3-story shoe shop, taken down board by board, young dodos like me crawling around on 10 by 10 beams, 3 stories up. OSHA hadn't even been heard of. Okay? And we lugged all that stuff up by the reservoir with the idea of using it to build a new firehouse. And don't you know, we didn't use a single board. We would have been better off demolishing it. No. And to do it the hard way.
How to control burn.
Seems like a good idea.
All right, what else? Anybody?
Is there any word on the raises?
I believe we are meeting tomorrow to try to finish up the evaluations, which will then generate the raises. Okay? All right? Yes.
I'd like to give this to Joe and Laura. The yard sale's coming up, not too distant future. Can we get some publicity on the maps? Are the maps available already or what?
Maps are not printed at this point, but they will be shortly.
Okay.
What we are going to do is I'll take some down to the Farmington Rep Committee to break down there to pass out so people in Farmington pick up the Middleton map, and I'll take some of their Farmington maps, bring them up here as well.
Is there a possibility of maybe posting something on the Middleton News and Forum or, I mean,
Yeah, and part of the deal is we're gonna put a pouch at the front like that, and that's people come up and just grab it and put it on.
okay.
Right.
She's gonna post it online and then we can share it to the New Hampshire yard sale groups and things like that.
Even if it's just the address, it's not the physical map.
I already talked about it earlier, she just,
Yeah.
And Laura mentioned,
Hold up, so I can hear, please.
Laura mentioned the calendar. You're waiting for approval for one of the photographs. Since it's a town sort of, if not sponsored, at least sanctioned project, is it possible to like send this guy a certified letter or something?
yeah, good, but we didn't want it ready till October anyways,
Okay, but
to sell them at like events.
I want to buy one now. Okay. And I also have something else. This is for EMS, police department, and fire department. And I'm not doing this because I want to make note of what Tony and I did. We had an opportunity to go shopping and found these on sale for a very small amount of money. You guys go out, you deal with families, the kids are traumatized, and you can give something like this. So the only reason I'm bringing this up publicly is so that everybody knows that the police, the fire department, and EMS do these kinds of things. And so if anybody's watching these minutes on the video, if you've got like the lap blankets, they sell them, I think, like sometimes $4 or $5 at some of the dollar stores and that. You guys could probably use some of those blankets in your cruisers or in the ambulance too, so if anybody has an opportunity to provide the police and the fire department stuff like this, just follow our example maybe and help them out and stuff like that. So there's, I don't know, close to a dozen of these in here. It's for you guys to split them up between.
I think this deserves a round of applause.
This is not for us, this is for the townspeople to know that we want our police, fire, and EMS supported. We want you guys to have these kinds of things.
Thank you very much on
Yeah.
behalf of Chief Blodgett and myself. Thank you for your efforts.
And you'll see that that whoever else in the departments need.
Yeah, definitely.
Good idea.
Excellent, John. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Tony, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's good publicity for the
Hey, we gotta do
police and the
public
fire
right now.
department. If they do anything like this, the people can remember it.
And it's done.
You'll get good,
Here, thank you for that.
report.
Appreciate it.
Actually, thank you for bringing that.
What's up?
I kept meaning to ask you guys to do that, like collecting stuff.
No.
A couple of years ago, we went to one of the
Chief
stores,
Lawrence?
someone who blankets for $4.
Can you see us going, we're close, please?
Sure.
Very well. Thank you.
So,
All right, anything else for the good of Bill? Good, all right, move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn at 7:42. Thank you.
All right, all in favor? Aye, thank you.
No, I was going to ask because